Follow www.soulcentralmagazine.com.
Okay, hello world, how you doing? Once again, we are back with your host slash co-host, April Williamson.
Hello.
Royalty. Today we got special guests in the building. A true legend and a lot of our eyes in our community. A very powerful testimony, you know, and want to introduce him. His name is Ralph Warren. And Ralph basically was back in the days, our freeway Ricky Ross.
Well, you can say that. You can say that. We'll say it all right now.
The Maserati Ricks and our Chamber Brothers, and,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So, what I'm saying is he's a ex-KingPin, and he basically got caught up in the whole era of the back in the 80s and things like that, as far as doing the wrong things, which a lot of us have done, you know, but I'm gonna let him explain some things and just go from there and just basically let the world know how you started as far as getting involved in this mess, you know what I'm saying, and what happened, you know.
All right.
Okay.
All right. I started actually way back in high school. You know, we come from a culture that, that allowed us to grow up in what they call the drug culture. In school we smoked marijuana. I got pictures when I was 15 years old, and I tend to show people that this is actually when I first smoked my first joint. At 15 years old, we were somewhere in a car, a station wagon, Plymouth, and we went into the store. We got us some tops. They don't sell those anymore, I don't think. But we went in there and we got them. We had a little roller. They used to sell the rollers. There you pay that. I think it cost 50 cents for the roller. The tops cost another 50 cents. And we had us what they call a $5 bag. You get about that much in a bag. And we're 15 years old in the back of this Plymouth, and we're going at it, trying to get this joint to roll. And we finally get it. We light it up, and poof. And so start me into the drug world, into the drug culture. 15 years old.
So I'm sorry to cut you off. So back then they didn't ID.
No, there was no ID or anything. You could always get tops in the store. A lot of times you get alcohol. You can get you a 6-pack of the Coke 45. You get you a 6-pack of Coke 45, and no, there was no ID for drug paraphernalia. You just go right into the store, and they would just sell it to you. They got they had tops. They had the one in the blue label.
I don't think they started really doing that ID thing until
the 90s. Was it the 90s?
I think it was the Reagan era, the Reagan administration era.
Maybe not to maybe 1990, because I can remember back in the 80s. It was just about the same. It was just about the same way, So that was started. That was actually started, and my drug career, so to speak. 15 years old, we were smoking marijuana in high school. We're selling marijuana, and our culture is a certain thing, because our culture it accepts that. It accepts that. It accepted it, and it got to be to a point to whereas just growing up, in the urban area of Toledo, that if you were an athlete, you were almost expected to be able to hang or get high, and that's what we did. We would roll up marijuana, we smoke it, and 15, 16, 17 years old, and this is what we did. They would go into the bathrooms there. We passed who got the best marijuana, who has the Colombian red bud, who has the Mexican gold, and so forth. They even had charts of it. You can go to the store and you could pick out, you could match it up. So that started it. Okay. So we grew up in that. It was acceptable. And once I went off to college, and like a lot of us did, you know, I was groomed with a lot of guys that went on to play professional sports. I had played basketball with those guys. I wasn't that good, but you know, we got along fine. I got my 2, 4, 6 points or whatever it was. But they always wanted the ball, so you had to throw it to them anyway. They wouldn't have it any kind of way you had to throw them the ball.
They should have been dishing it to you.
Oh yeah, but you know they was better. They make a lot of the shots. But anyhow, I went off on track scholarship, and the record that I set while I was in high school was actually Paul Warfield's record. I know a lot of y'all, you're probably kind of young. Y'all don't know who Paul Warfield is or was, but he played with the Cleveland Browns back when the Cleveland Browns used to win a lot of games. You know. Okay.
I'm sorry, Cleveland fans.
Sorry.
He used to win a lot of games. Number 42, he's a Hall of Famer. He was awesome. As a matter of fact, he went to school up in Cleveland, at Cleveland Tech, Cleveland West Tech. Somebody check my information, but I'm pretty sure it was up in Cleveland. I think it was East Tech or either West Tech. But he was an excellent hurler, and he had set what they call the 180-yard low hurdle record for the state of Ohio in Ohio. And when I came back in my time, I broke that record. And because they kind of retired that event, my record's the last one to stand. So my record has been standing since 1976. 1976. That makes me kind of old, but that's okay. We're going to talk about that later. We're going to worry about that. But that record stands, and coming out of high school, I was an Olympic hopeful. I had a 9-foot stride. I'm pretty tall, so I'm 6'3" and all legs, and my family they were behind me and everything. But you know, we kept on with the drug use. We kept on with that drug use, and I did fairly well. And come to that summer of 1979, they introduced a new form of drug that everybody started to look at, and it was called freebase. Now we look at crack cocaine, you know, as a drug that had America, you know, set back on its back legs. But what it was actually that we had started using was a form of it was a freebase. It was spread out over a mirror. I don't know if you seen. And we didn't know what we were getting into. We were just thinking we were doing something fancy. There was no sign saying, say no to drugs.
Right.
We're going to try every drug. What's this? Hey, we're going to try this. And we started trying that. And then one thing led to the next. The next thing you know, I was hooked on this stuff. I was hooked on this freebase. And I didn't know it was going to lead to that. And then eventually I left school. I left the university.
Now, how did you actually, because, you know, we know freebase is addictive, any kind of drug, it's addictive or whatever. But how did you get from that point, from the freebasing to actually getting away from it, off of it, to now moving it, selling it, distributing it, or whatever?
That's a good question, because actually what had happened was you kind of run out of money. And there was something in me that made me slow down from it. But you would do a little, and a lot of times when you're doing a little, you don't think that's addictive, but you're still an addict. You're still an addict. So we cut back in like maybe 1980, 81. I caught a case, a real small cocaine case. I had mistakenly sold to a officer, a BCI state officer, and I had gotten a little time, 30 days and whatever. And then once I got out, because I dried up a little bit, but when I got out, I still wanted to get back what, you know, I had sort of lost, and really hadn't lost anything.
Right.
But you're talking about a guy that's 22 years old. 22, 23 years old.
At the time, just had a baby, son, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm 22, 23, I'm a kid. I'm a kid, so immature. You know, I'm grossly immature. And so I'll go right back out, boom. Now, I'm going to find something else. Well, I'm still getting high. And you graduate from, just slack down a little bit, because you don't have as much money, and you go off into selling marijuana. And then from marijuana, we graduated into actually selling kilos of cocaine, still using drugs. You're still using. You never stop using drugs. I never stopped using them. You just limit them. You know,
Right.
we were binge users. We turned into what you call binge users, the group that I was with. And what it means is we're not going to do nothing right now, but when we do it, we're going to do a whole lot.
Right, we're going to fire it
Oh,
up.
we're going to do a whole lot. And that's the way.
Maybe made another $100,000. Oh, fire it up.
Yeah. I can remember days we were doing lines and we would do lines about this long. We had a big old Heineken mirror that we had got from the, what they call it, the head shed.
Yeah.
And that was out here. We would leave it on the table there and we pour the cocaine out and we would just do everything there.
Mm-hmm.
We were addicted. We had poor judgment. It was using poor judgment, just looking back on what was going on. So now we're starting cocaine, and when cocaine came, it just flooded. It was just everywhere. I mean, you just, instead of having marijuana, you know, for cheap prices, because we made a pretty nice amount on marijuana. You know, I mean, I can remember, you know, guys driving down the street. You know, my first 100 pounds of marijuana, a guy was driving down the street and the trees were sticking out the back of his truck.
Wow.
And I looked at him, I was driving my car, I'm like, he blowing his horn at me, and I know him, he's a white guy from good right. Ronnie, what you got? Hey man, what? You just can't do this, but this is the 80s, so 80s were a little loose, right? They were not as tight as what it is now.
Right.
When he pulled the car over, it was near McDonald's and all, we go on Monroe Street, almost in the center of the urban area. He got trees of marijuana hanging out his truck. I said, man, what are you doing, man? You can't just ride around with stuff like this. So we go to my house and we pluck it all off, and it was a huge amount, and maybe 150 pounds of this marijuana.
Oh,
So
wow.
we had a large amount. So, well, you know, and everything got to be a large amount. After all the marijuana, you know, people, they had cocaine, they had kilos of cocaine. So instead of actually the kilos replaced the marijuana. We were still getting high though. We never stopped that. You're getting high, we're drinking, you're smoking marijuana, you're using freebase, you're marijuana. And he had the, you know, the truckload of, it was hanging out the back. We peeled it loose back at the house, and there's a whole bunch of it, maybe 150 pounds, it was quite a bit. But this is the quantity of and the size of the loads that everything started to be. Even and the cocaine followed right after that, and we replaced the marijuana actually. And so we graduated from the marijuana into the cocaine while we were still using cocaine and marijuana and so forth. And it was large. It was large. It was common to have 50 kilograms. It was common to have 100. You know, 2 or 3 kilograms was like, oh, that's just, you know, just something to, you know, just to maybe party with, keep somebody personal that needs some ounces or want a half a brick or something like that. So the loads were pretty large, and you could always, you know, find a kilo. That's not wasn't much, but the hundreds of kilos. And the thing about back in those days with me personally, and I know a lot of people who are out there, they probably will find it difficult. I didn't have to have a gun because the people I dealt with, they were not of that type that, well, you're not going to give me nothing, and I don't have to bring a gun. Don't bring guns around me. I don't like people. They don't like people bringing guns around them, you know, for things, because it creates a problem. It creates problems, guns and things like that. And you have to bring in money. All you have to do is try to put 2 or 3 heads together. How are we going to figure to get this big load of cocaine where we need to get it? We don't need no money. We just got to figure out how we're going to get it back to where we need it to go.
Right.
The money don't even come in. That's not even about it. Once we get it where we got it to go, then we figure out what we're going to do with it.
That was the days, like, when, like, I understand that clearly, because, you know, when me dealing with people I dealt with, they like, yo, man, you know, like the front, you know, I know you something or whatever. I'm not breaking it to you. You know what I'm saying? You come and get it, and it's on you. You know what I'm saying? Just give me my money once you get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, they try to we look out for each other, make sure, you know, the streets are clear and things like of that nature. We didn't have a a super sophisticated network that was all over the place, like you see on TV, they be looking out on top of the building.
Right.
We didn't have that.
Right.
All we had was our instinct, like, you think it's a good time now?
Right.
But we just
That's
kind
what I
of,
was gonna ask you, did you ever, question yourself, oh, this is bad, I shouldn't be doing it, this is dangerous, we can get caught.
yes, you question it, but see, you have that Superman syndrome when you're about 23 or 24.
Right. I can get away with it.
Ain't nothing hurt me. I could do this, I could do that. You 23, you 25. You're not worried. You're not. I mean, if you are scared, it kind of irritates you that you are. Man, come on, I got it. We got it. If we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it. What they say, scared man can't make no money. They say scared man can't make no money. If you're gonna be scared, you ain't gonna make no money because you're not gonna be able to do it. You're gonna be shaking and you'll make mistakes. So you just gotta just be calm and we all had nerves of steel. Because I look back on it now when I think about it, sitting back in the jail, so like, man, this is so dangerous. That was so dangerous. You feel like lucky to even be alive because somebody could have caught a whiff of what we were doing. We don't have any pistols. We don't have any guns.
Right.
We just have a friendship. We just have a party.
Right.
Like I know you. I know, man. Come on, let's do this. Oh wait, let's don't do that now. Okay, let's stop. Okay, let's wait to here. Let's go over here in this city over here and stay for a little while and just hang out. Let's go to the club, but let's don't get drunk.
Right.
Okay, and you may find, something to do in that place, and then now it's time, okay, I'm ready now, I'm ready, just in case. And then it was good that we did that too, because you could shake off any type of surveillance if you had surveillance. And the thing that I understand now is that surveillance is real hard to break because, FBI agents, state agents, they're very, very trained at what they do. They train every day for what they do. So the mistake is on you. The time is against you because you're gonna make a mistake.
Right.
And
they trained to wait. They train. I mean, they be when they own you. When them feds own you,
They gonna
it's like a pit bull. They lock on you and
they gonna wait because you're gonna make a mistake. You're gonna do something. You have to. You're a human being. This is the way life is. Life isn't perfect. We don't live in a perfect world.
right.
Something's gonna go wrong. You'll get a flat tire. I can remember a time, man, when I come back from a Motor City and I ate some bad food, man. I had load of coke. I'm like, I ate some bad food. So I'm sick now. So we didn't. See, when you're doing this kind of thing, you don't count taking the fact that you can get sick. I'm sick. So now there's something could happen. Anything could happen now because I'm sick. I'm like, I barely could make it. And then on top of it, I want to start with, maybe if I get a drink of alcohol, then I'll be okay. Now, I don't know where I got that thought from. But,
Bad idea.
Bad idea.
Right.
So I stopped there, then you meet, I met a girl, she's like, and she's like, liking you, and you're like, oh my God, she looks nice. So now, you got the load of cocaine, you sick, and now you want to do something else. You can drink a drink, and now you look at a girl, judgment's off. So your judgment's all the way off, and it come to be that the car actually broke down. So now you got the drugs in the car, you got the girl with you, you got the alcohol in you, and you sick. And then it start raining. And we make it. I'll make it all the way through and get it, and everything turns out okay. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a blessing that a lot of times things did not happen because of your judgment being off like that, or bringing huge amounts of cocaine and selling it and things like that.
Okay, but we know quite naturally back then, everybody in the streets, the streets, back then your name popping, rap horn, you know what I'm saying? And other, people in the organization that was going on back then. It was like folks here, you know what I'm saying, back then. You get caught up in the drug trade, okay, to an extent where it's large, you know what I'm saying. And actually I was reading the indictment, you know what I'm saying. The indictment was like huge.
Yes, it sure is.
It was indictment, you know what I'm saying, and back then, we didn't know how to, see indictments, get to read, you know what I'm saying?
Very cool.
Inquiry mind want to know, you know, like what's, you know, like actually I looked at it and I was like, wow.
And we still didn't realize quite what was happening right at that moment. We just like, man, we did all this stuff here. Nah, we didn't do this. They don't have no evidence. The first thing to come up people's mouth, they don't have no evidence.
They watch the evidence that we just said. They watch it. They got their eye on you.
There you go, right here. I tell you.
And you look at it like, damn, I did do it.
Well, after a while, you start looking and you like, well, is this evidence? Well, you don't know anything about law. The lawyer said, yeah, that's evidence. She's like, man, that ain't nothing. We ain't did nothing. Well, yes, you have, because they got a book that says you did. I said, well, what says the good thing is that they don't see any violence in the case. They didn't see no violence. And one reason why they didn't is because we were of the mind, people are with, hey, if you could beat me out of a kilo, you got it, it's yours. If I give it to you, you go walk with it, it's yours. Then you don't bring the money back, it's yours. I'm not gonna hunt you down. I'm not gonna shoot you. I'm not gonna jump up and down and do, whatever. You got it, because generally I'm not gonna give anybody anything. If I give you something, that's because I really, really like you, and I consider you my friend, so I would not go back and try to shoot my friend just because he had a lapse in judgment. And, you know, I'm not going to shoot my friend. Different than the guys of this day. Different than the guys of this day.
They kill you over an 8-ball.
Yeah.
Take your head off for $100.
You give them the drug, right? And you get mad when they don't give it the money back. Well, you shouldn't have gave it to them.
Right.
If it's going to hurt you that bad, or you figure you're going to hurt them, then why give it to them? Don't say, no, I'm not going to do that because you do this. I get too mad, and you my friend, but I'll shoot you. But that's not your, see, if you're going to shoot your friend, then that's not your friend.
That's not your friend.
That's
and
not
it
your
could
friend.
be, I mean, now they shoot, relatives over, over drugs and stuff.
It's really bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
Man, I can remember, I'm careless again. I have a bag of money. I used to carry bags like that. Maybe like one of them. Man, if you get in a rush, you put your bag on top of the car, or you don't know what you're doing, you're high on cocaine or whatever, and you're going real fast, you want to get to where you're going, whatever, and you leave the bag on, drive off, boom, and you get to where you're going, you look for that bag. Where's that bag at? Bag got about, what, $15,000, $20,000 in it. Oh man, I left it on top of the car. Go all the way back, the bag is gone. Now,
somebody came up. Somebody will pay $8 million and really bought a nice car.
You made a mistake. So I said, somebody in the neighborhood got that bag.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out who would get that bag in his neighborhood. Because I live right there. Everybody, we know everybody here.
Right.
Ain't nobody going to come by here. And somebody got that bag on his neighborhood. I want to figure who got that bag. So we get to run around. Who got it? Who got it? Who got it? Somebody comes, I got the bag. Because we know, because somebody told that this person was there and they had the bag, because it's a pretty bag. I said, bring my bag back. They said, well, they scared to bring it back because, it was full of money. I said, where the money at now? They said, well, I don't know. So I said, just tell them bring my bag back. We talk about it. They don't want to bring the bag back because they're afraid. I said, I'm not going to do nothing. I'll tell them it's my fault. Put leaving the bag on top of the car. I just want my bag and whatever money they got left. Tell them come on down and talk to me. I ain't gonna do nothing. Right. As a matter of fact, we have barbecue. Come on and give them some barbecue for stealing my bag. They thought it was great, but they came down. Here's your bag. I said, you took it? Why come you didn't let me know? I said, I figured I needed the money more than you did.
Right.
It was
Right.
How much you take? Here it is right here. You count it, She took about $7,000, $8,000, but I didn't even get mad. The normal person would have been trying to punch the person out.
Right.
I left the money on the car. I made the mistake. Okay, you got it. Here's your barbecue. But don't you come out here and steal it. You steal it. You know that bag was my bag. He said, but I'm not going to beat you up and do stuff like that. That went around. He ain't do nothing to her. He ain't do nothing to her. He said, but dang, that was my mindset. I'm like, if I make a mistake and give you something, I'm not gonna come back and hurt you, my friend. I'm gonna shoot you. Man, I wouldn't be able to deal with that.
Right.
Now you try to shoot me, I try to shoot you.
Right. That's something different. That's a different
But I'm not gonna just jump up and if I make a mistake like that, I figure it was me. So it's different than the people of this day. They,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes, it
you know,
is.
You got a question?
Yes,
Because
let's get into, I don't wanna go real deep into the court case and everything. How did you feel when the judge ruled your sentence? What was your expression that day? You know, how did you feel? What was going through your mind?
Well, I was the last one to get sentenced. They sentenced everybody else first, so everybody else, I think everybody else got, you know, the time and
speaking of everybody else, the organization.
yeah, everybody that was arrested with me. That included, there's one, two, three of my brothers, about four, one of my cousins, my girlfriend at that time. They had got sentenced before what I did. I watched all of them get sentenced, and it didn't bother me, just listening to the time, especially with my brother getting 30 years and 20 years and things like that. And I'm thinking through my mind, you know, this is ridiculous. We're not going, we shouldn't be, this shouldn't be happening.
Right.
And this it feel tragic. It felt like something was terribly wrong. Listen to their sentences. But when he sentenced me, I just feel like this was the devil.
Right.
I'm like, this is something evil about what's going on. Because he sentenced me actually to 2 life sentences in 30 years, 360 months. So I'm like, for real? I mean, that much time for, you know, even for what I've done. And I've told him, I told my attorney, I said, yeah, sold drugs. But, you know, a whole lot of time, no. You know, 30 years, no. 8, 10 years, okay, we'll I'll ride off. Just let them go. Fine, fine. No, they didn't want that. They wanted 22. They wanted me to do 22 years. I said, 22? I said, that's a, you know, 89. You talk about when you do 22 years. I mean, that's for murdering.
Murder, yeah.
Yeah, for murdering people. And I was in jail with. I knew a guy who had actually stabbed a person 63 times, and he didn't. He wasn't facing life there. As a matter of fact, they give him that's all they give him was 20 years. So I'm like, 22 years? That's a lot. How about 10 years? That's a whole lot of time too. I said, let's let everybody go 10. No, they don't want that. They wanted
They
to
wanted to bury you
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah, they wanted for 22 years. It was something about, you know, my arrogance and my immaturity. Yeah, that really it didn't sit well with the judge, and at that time it didn't sit well with that United States attorney. So because they didn't have to invoke what I call death penalty, actually for drug dealers, they invoke a statute called 21 U.S.C. 851, and what they do, they bring in your prior convictions and say, based upon your prior convictions, because you got 2 of them that I had, like one for marijuana and one for a small amount of cocaine that I never did time for. So because you got those 2, we could give you life without parole. Because you got 2. They file a document that's saying, here's 21 U.S.C. 851. He qualifies. He qualifies because of his prior convictions. And because of that, we can give him life without parole. We could book him. Yeah, we can book him forever. Now, that's an option on the United States Attorney. If the United States Attorney does not want to hurt you that bad, they won't file that document. They won't file that document. They say, well, okay, 20 years will be enough. That's the maximum we can give him is 20 years. And then with the way the guidelines are set up, you may get 15 years or something like that, and you may get out in 12 and a half. So it's a big jump when you file that document that we want to book him, we want to put him away. His life to us is not even worth living. And that's what I was thinking when I'm listening to this man talk, this judge talk about, you know, how I had a chance in school, how I had this right here, and that you had all these options and you chose to do this, which he was correct about that. And I have no other choice but to sentence you to 2 life sentences without parole and 360 months. And what was going through my mind?
That sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, what was going through my mind is like, you telling me that the best our United States government can do for me because of my errors, the best you could do to try to help me rehabilitate is to put me away where I would never ever get out of prison again? This is what I'm thinking about. it wasn't no anger. It was like a shame, like shame on you. It's like a shame on you for even thinking that way about a person that has not committed a violent crime.
Right.
You know, we know the dangers of drugs.
Right.
You know, admittedly, you know it's dangerous and it's very, very dangerous. But to that extent, that is what kind of resonated in me, and I feel sorry for my co-defendants because they had never, most of them, like myself, none of us have done any time at that time. We had never been to prison. We've all did like county jail time, and there's a big difference between county jail time and actual going to prison. So I felt sorry for my girlfriend at that time because she didn't know what was coming, and we thought that because we had like 2 trials. We had 2 trials. The first trial was a hung jury. They said, no, they're not. He's not the kingpin of two. There's people bigger than him, and this is not the person that was given orders. I mean, you don't have the evidence that he was giving orders and telling everybody what to do because actually that is not what I was doing. You know, they perceived it to be that way because of the number of people involved. But I never told anybody, hey, listen, you sell this drug to him, you sell this. This is a kingpin statute.
Right.
You give orders with 5 people and you collect the money from them. That makes a kingpin. That's a RICO type of kingpin statute. You're giving people orders where to collect, who to sell it to, when to sell it, and so forth. And you have an organization like that. And that is not, you know, what I was doing. I was just getting it.
But
I
they
was
came back around with the second trial.
They came back.
And
Yeah, it was a.
by that time they had it all in the paper, so they got everybody on the news. They have everybody perceive, you know what I'm saying, like you this, you know what I'm saying, this
Well, $26 million.
mafia guy.
They said that the whole thing was that I had $26 million, $26.5 million in 1 year, and if they wanted the money, they would harass, you know, my children's mother about money. My mother, anybody about large sums of money. And they would come and tell me, listen, we got the one safe about this one place, we're gonna open it up, you could, we got the money. I said, well, what money are you talking about? They would say, well, don't, you know, play dumb with us. We know what you were doing, we know how much money you were making, and this safe is gonna tell us everything because we know that money's in that safe. Well, they opened the safe, somehow, it's hard to open up, and they found there wasn't any money in that safe. You know, so, I mean, so now they're trying to figure out where is this money. And the whole thing about the whole case is they want to know this money, and they say he's not saying nothing about any
That
money.
wasn't they mad, but they want that. But what's the money?
So they had the 15 to 20,000 my cash that we had, you know, because I had a carry out at the time, and I had like a record shop, so they figured out where is this money? Where is all this money that we're looking for? We at least need $1 million. If you can just tell us where $1 million or $2 million, then we'll be content. I said, well, I would say, well, it's not that. It just it's not that. So they always wanted to know. And today, people ask me,
Where's the money?
where's the money?
It's a shame. That's a shame.
And my answer is, there is no money. There is no money. Well, I can't make them believe it because they tell me it is. So they want to know. So that makes good drama, you know, because it's just money, and it's more than $1 million. It's more than 2. They say, well, he's not a total dummy.
Boy, I tell you, boy, these niggas, boy.
He got that money somewhere. You know?
So y'all thinking, y'all out here, y'all thinking, okay, you know, did time, you did what, 29 years?
27 and 7 months.
Okay, y'all looking, okay. Ralph, he did the time and all that, so y'all believe that he come back home to what, 20-something million or whatever, or?
Yeah, that's what they thought. Yeah.
No, they still thinking it. They think you just, like you said, you know, Ralph's a smart guy, you know, he just sitting around just waiting, you know.
Yeah, but there is no money. I can't, the more I tell them, if I tell them it is money, they'd probably be better off to stay okay. But if I keep telling them no, then that it does something to the curiosity.
Right.
They look at me and they say, no, it's hidden language in what he's saying. No, you gotta listen to what he's saying, but they can't take no
Right.
to mean no.
Because they can't believe it.
Yeah,
There's no money, y'all. All right? Goodness gracious.
Yeah,
Stop it.
Yeah, I work at alcohol and drug treatment center. And
Yeah, you do a lot, but basically coming home, before we get into that, can you let everybody know how you have 2 life sentences plus some more time?
360 months.
How did you get home? How did you get back here, sitting right here with us, the Soul Central Magazine? How you get here?
Man, it's been a incredible journey, you know. It's really emotional, you know. I think about it, just being here. You know, first I said, man, I'm not even supposed to be here. You know, I thought about that. Then somebody stopped me, you know, a minister stopped me. He said, what you mean, man? You are supposed to be here. God wanted you to be here for a reason. He wanted you to be here for a reason. You are supposed to be here. Stop saying that. Stop saying that. And I listened to him, and it resonated in me. And he said, you are supposed to be here because what has happened to you, you've been on both sides. You've been all the way down in what they call the belly of the beast. You've been there. And when I got there, it was something in me that I was just furious, man, that I had even made that decision to even sell cocaine or even experiment with drugs. I just hated it. I hated that decision because just like that judge had said, like so many people have said, you could have been anything because you have a good mind and you have a good heart, and you could have been anything, but I elected to be a drug dealer. One of the worst things you could be. You know, you're an intelligent person. This is not a thing you want to do. This is not a thing you want to do with intelligence. You want to be an engineer. You want to build bridges. You want to build skyscrapers. You want to build a spaceship. You want to be a rocket scientist.
Right.
You know, you want to do things like that. You don't want to be a drug dealer.
Right.
Drug dealers are people who just are forced into doing that, who don't have an option, whose circumstances have shaped them to a point of desperation. That you're desperate, you have no other way out. This is what you do. Here it is. All the rocks or stones or stars or whatever have lined up, and you got to do this deal. After this deal, I'm going to be all right. This is what makes a person actually.
Follow www.soulcentralmagazine.com.
About to spit a couple bars.
Hey, Lucid, turn that shit up.
Ring, ring, that's the plastic. Calling, 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 calling. Ring, ring, that's the plastic. Calling, 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 calling. Ring, ring, that's the plastic. Calling, 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 calling. Ring, ring, that's the plastic. Calling, 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 calling. Yeah, I fill my pockets till I'm yawning. Yeah, I work hard till the morning. Millie rock on your ass while you stalling. Flow come cold.